Alright guys, welcome to part 4 of building my ICF house. So in this video we're going to do the slab. So the first thing we're going to do is put some number 2 stone in here, bring it up about 8 inches until it's 4 inches below the top of the footing. I got about 40 tons of number 2 stone right there. It's a 3/4 inch washed, crushed stone that's got no fines in it. So in my basement, I'm going to have a bathroom. It's see that right there? I designed this on AutoCAD. And so here is the utility room right here. So this is how it's gonna go. This corner right here is this corner right here. So we're gonna have a toilet right there, gonna have a shower right there, and then a vanity right there. So you can see I got my waistline all drawn out on AutoCAD. I left out a space around the perimeter to put in some pipe for my radon mitigation. So all around the perimeter I left a space to do that. There's no reason to dig it away. So I'll put that in and my plumbing, and then I'll tamp the whole thing after. So I got my pipes in for the radon. This is not totally necessary. This is way overkill for this. Got my plumbing in for my bathroom here. I'm just waiting on this pump, and then I can actually go right into the pump. I got no 90-degree fittings, all is 45 except for the underneath the toilet there. I don't know if anybody else has had this problem, but I want my waste to go into the wall for this vanity here. So this is the only way I could see that that was going to happen. I guess I could have set this before I put my footing here, but who would have thought to do that? So all of the radon pipes go right into this spot right here. And we're going to support these before we pour because they're not very stable right now. So it's radon mitigation, sump pump, ejector pump. So right now I'm waiting on the foam to put down on top of this to run my radiant heat in. So while I'm waiting, I want to get this prepared for the concrete trucks to come here. So what I didn't show you guys on camera was that I put a drain going from right in that corner all the way out to here, and I also connected that other secondary drain. It was the extra drain that I put on the side here. I ran that and wired it into another drain going right there and ran it all the way out here, and I put a whole bunch of number 2 stone around it. So that takes care of this side. The only reason I did that right now is because I was getting water coming up right there. So there's water coming this way, so I want to make sure it can continue and go right down there. And I did that kind of at night, and I couldn't really see that well, so I didn't film it. I still have to do this side though. I have to connect that drain into that drain and bring it out into another point over there. And I also have to connect that other former drain over here into things as well. There's only about 18 inches of cover right there on top of that drain, and you can see that I need to come up about 18 inches anyways. So I'm going to bring some fill over here, the stuff that I took out from this pit and brought over to the other side. I'm going to bring it here, mount it up about 18 inches, and try to compact it the best I can. That way when the concrete truck gets here, it's been sitting for a while and it's settled, and it's not going to be like freshly placed here. The only reason I didn't put the other drain in is because I still have to do the geothermal loop going out to there. So I'm also not going to fill up, because that needs a good 18 inches of fill there too. But I'm going to kind of taper it off right here. That way I still have this swath going down through for the geothermal. That way we can put the pond loop going out that way. been a few weeks since I've had the chance to do anything on this project, and we got a lot of rain. So I don't know if you can really see it, but the rainwater came up almost to the top of this pipe, which means there's a lot of water in these pipes right now. And I want to test this before I put this slab in here. So I got to take this water out below the point of this pipe by a few inches. That way I can put a test cap on, all those, and then we'll put some pressure in here and test this. So if you guys hear a bunch of quacking in the background, that's what it is. We have a bunch more ducks now, and they do make a lot of noise. So now I can adapt that down to take a gauge and some air fittings, and we'll put 10 pounds of pressure in it. So I just went from 1/2 inch NPT to 1/4 inch NPT, put a gauge, put a shutoff valve, and I'm ready for my compressed air. Let's just put 10 pounds in here. You don't want much. Alright, so I put 10 pounds of pressure in there, and I shut that off, and you can see some of these caps are bulging out. They don't really like to be under air pressure. So I wouldn't recommend doing this to anybody, because this is kind of dangerous, because PVC can explode and the caps can come flying off. So if your face is over the cap and it comes flying off, that might not be too good. But this fitting right here, the cap that I put inside, that was leaking right off the bat. So I ended up putting one of these fern coats on here, and you can see this one's bulged out pretty good too. So I took some soapy water, sprayed everything down. The only thing that was leaking was this. Obviously that's not a big deal, that's not part of the plumbing. Just needed to tighten that up a little bit more. So that's my utility room right there. I'm gonna have a set of stairs going to the first floor. And so right here, I'm gonna need a column. It's gonna be a 4x4 steel column that goes up to the first floor and then again to the second floor. Because I'm gonna have stairs going once and then twice for the second floor. So I need to dig for a footing right there. It needs to be 12 inches thick once it's done. So I really only need to come down 6 inches there. Need to take that out so we can put the footings in.
I can do that.
I'm done in here.
Well, why do you have that?
This is so that when we pour the concrete is thicker here. See what I mean? So the concrete's going to be this thick right here. That's a footing. So when you put weight on it, it spreads the weight out instead of just a. You wouldn't want to. That's what this is. This is a footing. And then our walls are going to be right in the middle. But it spreads it out on the bottom, so it spreads out the weight. Right there. You just dump it all there, that's fine. And right around here we need a couple scoops too.
Where do we need to put it?
Okay. You can just scoop it there, that's fine. I'll move around my feet. These panels are 2x4. So if you start in a corner like that, you don't have to be crazy tight against the corner either. Then your leading edge would be the side that has a tongue on it. These pallets come with 60 pieces on it, and that's 480 square feet in one pallet. The tubing goes below the points of these, so you're not tripping on the tubing. Started over here. Just lift it up, put it underneath. Good to go. You can do it while holding the camera. I guess it's not too bad. I need to do a little bit more work around the edges, around there, around over there. But now I'm ready to start running my radiant tubing. That whole wall right there is going to be for radiant heat, geothermal, and incoming water. So right in the middle there, I'm going to run all my PEX tubing to it. Being that there's only going to be a mudroom above this, and then above that is just a roof, not the second floor, I'm going to run all my tubing to the right, and then I'll leave space on the left to run over here, because the wall on the side of the stairs is going to be what's going to transport my PEX from the basement up to the first floor and then to the second floor as well. So I want to leave the left side open to do that. So we'll leave the right side of it to go out, and then we only have this little slim spot here to run all of our tubing in the basement. So we'll come out here and go around this way and then back, and then I'll do 3 loops like that. In that corner is going to be a shower. So I do want to run a little bit of radiant heat in there, just so that the tile on the floor is nice and warmed up. That's a nice feature to have. I'm also going to run radiant heat in the wall behind the shower too. That'll be just a small loop, and I'll tie that in separately. Ideally, I would have liked to incorporate the wall loop into these loops here, but I don't have my walls yet. So once the walls are up, then I can channel into the foam for the loop that's going to be in there. next step in this process is going to be adding 2 courses of ICFs going around the perimeter of the whole foundation. So because I'm coming up 2 inches above the footing, I need something to stop the concrete. So I want to make believe that I have a wall there, but I don't want to stack it all the way up because then it's in the way. So ideally I only need 1 course, but to link these ICFs together, what I need to do is do 2 courses around the whole outside, and then I'll foam it in place, and then I'll take 1 course off. Move all these forms at the back here. This is 6-inch ICFs. These are for my parents, and there's a couple of the build decks in here. So we need to bring like a dozen or so out, and then we'll get to the 8-inch ICF forms. This trailer worked out really nice because these are all out of the sun, they're out of the weather. It's gonna be really nice not to have to worry about the snow on top of these. Plus they got cardboard on the top and the bottom, so even just getting wet is not great. So nice to have an entry-level spot here to drop off materials and just have a nice flat spot to work. It's walk right over here. It's easy. Foundations that don't have this are a lot harder to do. I made this little PEX decoiler right here. This is a lifesaver right here, and it's nothing fancy. All I did was use one of those Lazy Susan little circular pieces right there. It's rated for 1,000 pounds, and just put it on 2 2x4s one way, 2 2x4s the other way. Come up with some 2x4s and put a little taper on it. It took me like 15 minutes to make this. They want like $300 for a good one, which maybe eventually I'll get, but I just didn't even think to get one. But without this, what happens is it just coils up and it like twists around on you. Whereas this kept it flat the whole time, because you're uncoiling it at the same time that you're unrolling it. It's time. Quiet. Alright, so this is the morning of the pour. Got a lot of frost on the ground. We still got some stuff to clean up here. We gotta take that second layer off. I put some rocks around the edges just to hold the edge while I foamed it. So that's all dried and it's adhered. So we can take all the rocks off. And then take the second layer of ICFs off. And then just clean up, get this stuff out of here, get ready for the truck. We got 11 yards coming, so it's every bit of one truck. I picked up this 12-foot screed board. This is magnesium. It's a 2x4 by 12, 2 inches by 4 inches by 12 feet. And I also got this. This is 4 feet. This is for hand screeding, and it's got a little level on the top. So this should make things a little bit easier. Power screed is all ready to go. we go.
Perfect.
And like just like that. Yep. All right. Nice.
I think I just broke something.
That's good.
Yeah. I got the washer hand.
All right.
Oh no, I found him. I don't know what I'm doing. Where'd you put Pearls?
She's over here.
Oh, I see.
Simba.
You don't weigh enough.
She's like,
Oh my god, that was funny.
that was great.
Ralph is so scared of everything.
You're gonna get paw prints and some pee.
He is not there. Yep.
Just need one more pass on this. There's my excavator. Still warm. Counterweight on the back stores warmth. So we're gonna dip down below freezing tonight, so we're gonna put some concrete blankets on this and then leave it on there for a few days. But I just need to do one more good pass, and we're waiting a while to have it set up first. There's the pond over there. Alright guys, so here it is about 3 days later. Last night it warmed up and we're not going to have any freezing weather for a few days, so I took the blankets off. They were on for 2 nights because it was freezing the first and second night. It's always hard to tell on camera how good a slab is, but this came out pretty good. This whole area right here didn't need to be that good because I'm going to put tiles on that anyways. And especially underneath the shower, there's going to be a shower pan. So that's going to be floated with some mortar. So that doesn't need to be perfect. I know a lot of you guys are going to complain that I didn't put any testing equipment on the pecs before we poured. Usually you'd want to do that. That way if you hit it with some sort of tool while you're pouring, it will kind of explode the concrete right there if you put, you know, like 50 pounds of pressure in it. And then you'll know that something happened. But I'm very confident that nothing happened because there's no rebar and there's no wire mesh. That's another thing a lot of you are probably going to say I needed to put rebar or wire mesh in there, but in an interior slab like this, it's just floating. There's nothing structural about it, so you can just use fiber in the mix. So on this I use microfiber just because it's easier to finish than regular fiber. And I probably should be cutting some expansion joints, but if I'm 3-4 days later now and it hasn't cracked, then it's probably not going to crack. So I'll take my chances on that. Again, that's not something that you would normally want to do. If I was on a job, I wouldn't be doing this kind of stuff. These little handprints came out pretty cool. It's hard to pick up on camera though, but they'll be there forever. So now we've already completed probably the most tedious part about the foundation walls, and that's the first piece, just because we had to level it out on the footings because the footings weren't really super level. And I wanted it down to like 1/8 of an inch of accuracy. So what I had to do was cut some of the bottoms and then lift them up and shim them on other places, and then put Great Stuff foam up to hold it up, and then held it in place. Also squaring everything up, getting the lines snapped. That's all like the tedious, time-taking stuff. So now we're ready to just slam some ICFs up on here. I labeled all of the pieces that I took off the top, the second layer. I labeled them with numbers. So starting in that corner, be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and just go all the way around. That way we can put them right back on where they were. They're already cut for us. This is the common splice. On every wall you're going to see this. That's just because it's not ever going to line up to where you can just put them right against each other. Even when you do even numbers, it doesn't really line up that well. So on every wall, we're going to have a common splice that just goes right up to the top, and then we'll put some strapping on, similar to what we did right here. So a few things that I could have changed when I was doing all this work. Number one, I think the first and very most important thing is this concrete was just a little too dry. Definitely could have added another inch or 2 to the slump. I think we were working with about a 3 slump to begin with. And then I told them to get it to a 6, but it really only got to about a 4, maybe 5 at the most. And it was just really hard to work with, and it started to set up pretty quick. The other thing that I made a mistake about was that I put 1% calcium in, and I also did hot water. So I think what happened was, when the truck came here, the hot water made the concrete set up a lot quicker than it should have. But then once the hot water wasn't hot anymore, then it didn't want to dry. So it was like at first it was drying too quick, and then when it came time to finishing, it wasn't drying fast enough. So instead of doing hot water and calcium, what I should have done is do like 2% calcium and no hot water. Then that would have just sped up the whole process, but it wouldn't speed it up at first and then slow down after. So cold water and calcium 2% is what I should have done on this. A lot of times it's better to just have the concrete plant figure that out for you. But in this case, I've never used this company before and I didn't really know how they worked. I think one of the biggest advantages to pouring before you put the walls up is the fact that you can bull float this so easy. I thought troweling it around the edge would be another nice feature about doing this, but I don't know, it really didn't work out that well to try to lean over, especially since I have my rebar of 16 inches. And we kind of like messed up the little teeth on here a little bit from doing that, so we're gonna have to fix that as we go. but just for the first layer, and then after that it should be fine. So I am really excited to move on to the next step. It's probably going to be the least amount of work for one big step, the most money though. It's going to be about 30 yards to pour the walls, and pouring this was only about 10 yards. Plus I'm going to have a pump truck too. This Creatherm system, I just want to take a second to tell you about it. It worked out really nice. I really like the way that it's just so quick and easy to run your insulation as well as your radiant heat. This panel is good for 1/2 inch, 5/8, and 3/4 pecs, and you can do all kinds of different various spacing on it. I did 12 inch on most of it, but you can go less or more than that. It gives you a lot of different options, and the fact that they link together, it's a really nice product. If anybody is doing this, I would highly recommend checking into it anyways. It's really not that much more than regular polystyrene insulation that you'd put down, and then you just save a lot of work by not having to staple so much. I still ended up using the stapler a little bit on some spots. Like if I was making a long run going diagonal, I definitely put a couple staples in, just because when you're going this way, it doesn't lock it in. It locks it in going this way and this way. And in general, some loops just were twisted, so it was easier just to put a couple staples in there. And the amount of staples that I put in, you could probably just buy the staples and put them in with a hammer. You don't even need that little gun that I have for that. Overall, it was a nice system, and I'll definitely use it again when I do another slab. Alright guys, so that's it for this video. So I'm going to start the walls in just about an hour. And so I'll have that video out pretty soon, because that shouldn't really take too long. Probably take longer to do the bracing than anything else. So I'll see you guys on that video.